Welcome back to part number 2 of What If Anakin Told Obi-Wan About His Marriage. Thank you for your incredible support on part 1. If you aren't aware of the first part or are not subscribed, please do those first before watching this video. Mace Windu organises the Jedi stationed at the temple, with some protecting their home and others blocking any attempt of an escape. The slightly conflicted Anakin is distracted from his fears, as he is ordered to enter the airspace of Coruscant with the remaining members of the 501st Legion. Mace Windu nominates himself to go to confront Palpatine, with others on standby, and he entered into a Republic gunship. The Master of the Order confidently marched into Palpatine's office, expecting to see the Supreme Chancellor in his seat, but he was gone. Windu looked at the window, but there was no sign of an escape, so the Jedi Master orders all the clones and Jedi to be on maximum alert. Aboard the Republic cruiser on Coruscant, Anakin watched the top of the bridge when he saw a faint wisp drift past him. Ordering the hyperdrive docking rings to be locked immediately, they were too late, as what they assumed to be Palpatine had disappeared. The Sith Lord was on his way to Utapau, having sensed that Anakin would not be turned, and the Jedi were on his tail. Landing in one of the many layers of Pau City, Sidious casually leapt up the levels to a separatist meeting led by Grievous. The cyborg bowed to the Dark Lord of the Sith, and Sidious set about deploying his most devastating weapon. Back on Coruscant, the hunt for Palpatine was continuing, but their priority was to deprive him of his excessive powers. In the Senate, the lack of separatist presence had allowed Senator Amidala and Senator Organa to put forward a vote of no confidence, giving evidence as to the nature of the corruption, in particular citing the Republic's financial misdemeanors. The vote to remove Palpatine would take a while to get through, and in the meantime, the Sith Lord planned to use his remaining powers. On Utapau, the Sith Lord stood in the centre of the hangar bay and proudly executed Order 66. All around the galaxy, clones began to fire at the Jedi they had served under throughout the war, but unfortunately for the Sith Lord, the Jedi were prepared. Padme had read through the list of powers that had been granted to the Chancellor throughout the duration of his reign, and had found Contingency Order No. 66, which aimed to eliminate the Jedi acting against the interests of the Republic. Although they didn't have enough time to stop Order 66, they could reduce the fatalities. Given his close connection to the clones, Anakin ensured that at least all of the clone commanders had their inhibitor chips removed, and together they began to work their way through the descending ranks. Most of the clones perished either at the hands of their superiors or the blades of their generals, but the Jedi had saved themselves in the temple. The council members convened for an emergency meeting and discussed how they were going to go about capturing Palpatine. Even if his political power was removed, the Jedi would be failing their role as peacekeepers if a Sith Lord remained on the loose. From Kashyyyk, Grandmaster Yoda has a dark idea, and it concerned the Supreme Chancellor's Vice Chair Mas Amedda. The Chalgrian politician was still on Coruscant, and the Jedi felt that he had facilitated Palpatine's escape. The 3 Jedi Council members of Anakin Skywalker, Mace Windu and Obi-Wan Kenobi go to the Senate building and find Mas Amedda calmly seated in the Senate holding chamber. The Vice Chair orders the guards to attack him, but the Jedi dismissed them easily and placed their blades at his throat. Entering his mind, they discover that Palpatine had left from a hangar in the underworld of Coruscant, and there was a database of the previous locations from the docking bay. The Jedi each take a speeder, and avoiding some of the clones who were still under the control of Order 66, they find the location that Mas Amedda revealed to them. With the help of R2-D2, Obi-Wan finds that Palpatine had gone to the planet of Utapau, and he goes back to the temple to relay the information to the other Jedi Masters, whereas Windu and Anakin entered a secret abandoned tower where Sidious had stored all of his Sith artifacts. The area is eerily quiet, and they find a holocron vault similar to that within the Jedi Temple, so decide to take what had been previously theirs. Suddenly, there is a rumble, as it was obvious that they had activated a trap, and the room began to cave in, then detonated. Obi-Wan sensed something was amiss at the temple, and his attempts to communicate with the council members through his comlink were met with silence. Yoda moves himself on Plo Koon to arrest Palpatine, whereas Obi-Wan would go to rescue Windu and Anakin, as he felt his Padawan's presence fading away. It was now or never for the Jedi. That is it for part 2 of What If Anakin Told Obi-Wan About His Marriage. If you'd like to see a part 3 soon, please like this video, turn on that notification bell, click that subscribe button on this channel, as well as on my other channel What If Films. And as always, leave a comment on what if you'd all like to see next, and how I can improve my videos. Thank you all very much for watching, and see you next time.